That explains the heavier music than I normally put on the video. But today, we are going to explore Born to be Wild motorcycles, or at least one motorcycle. Motorcycle in the mountains at sunset, or maybe that's sunrise, I don't know. But I painted it mostly with watercolor, but I will tell you this, that the real impactful painting started with once I started adding the gouache. So this one is really, maybe you would say, an underpainting of watercolor and then gouache. But it is what it is, and it is a motorcycle. And today the topic is Born to be Wild. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure and whatever comes our way, not my way, your way, whoever. All right, are you ready to paint this one? I promise you it's not as hard as it looks. Took about an hour, I think, to paint it, but it's okay. You know what I like about the idea about doing the cards in a way, well, the cards are really a way to give somebody something special, but they're actually also a way to kind of experiment with what you might want to do larger. Because if you have a painting that's small like this one, I kind of like this one. There's some things I would change on it, but see, that's the idea. The cards are almost like a sketch for a future bigger picture. And you could do it in watercolor, but you could do it in oil, or you could do it in pastel, or acrylic, or gouache. You can make a big gouache picture. I wouldn't, though. Yeah, I would. Who knows? Do what you think works. And then you could make it more artsy, too. You could just fill it full of different colors that maybe aren't natural, but look beautiful in the painting. It's a good way to look at the cards. This is like a sketch of what you want to do later on. But the real reason for this card is to send it to somebody who is a motorcycle lover, like my brother Bob. But my brother Bob is no longer with us, so I don't have a way to send cards to heaven unless I can just hand it up there. Hey, Bob, there's your card. I made a card for you. His birthday is September. All right, let's get started. Well, this should be a fun one. I think I made a big mistake with the last one, with the focusing. Let's hope I get this one focused. Try to see on my camera here. Well, today, as you know, we're going to do a tribute to Born to be Wild. Sort of, kind of. And if you think Born to be Wild should be Peter Fonda and what do you call those handlebars that stand way high? Robin has a name for them. Ape grips or something. Monkey grips. So I'm just trying to get our guy in here first. Because he's first. We got to get the guy with the helmet. Get his arm out here on the handlebar. He's got a big space between his arm and his body because that's where the light's coming from. There's his mirror. There's his handlebar. So yeah, I have a story about motorcycles in the mountains, but it wasn't me who was riding the motorcycle. It was two other people. I was in a little car. A little car with a convertible top. You know those cars called trackers? Well, mine wasn't a tracker, but everybody knows that name, the tracker. Mine was called a sidekick. I don't know who made it. I think Suzuki made it. So kind of, hey, it's in the motorcycle family. So I was in the mountains driving my sidekick, which is a very little car. It's almost like a miniature Jeep, I guess you could say. I was in my car, and my son was, let's see, I don't know, maybe 12 years old. And we went on a road trip. And part of that road trip was to through the Blue Ridge Parkway, the Blue Ridge Mountains. You know what I mean. All right, here's my motorcycle guy. My brother was a motorcycle guy. Oh my gosh. I want to tell you about my brother a little bit, but let me finish telling you about this story. So my son and I were riding, and the top was down, and we were in the Blue Ridge Mountains, Blue Ridge Parkway, and it was the most beautiful ride ever. You know, sometimes you have a love-hate relationship with driving, right? Sometimes you love it, sometimes you don't really love it so much. But anyway, this time I was really loving it. Okay, I'm having this guy here. I think he's got his knee out. I think he's got his foot down here. He's just looking out at the scenery. So we were driving on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I said to my son Alex, I said, it doesn't get any better than this. That's what I said. It doesn't get any better than this. And I feel like no sooner had I said that when two motorcycles came by. Beautiful motorcycles. And they were riding down the Blue Ridge Parkway too. And I said, well, that would be better. We thought our ride was the best ride possible, but then when I saw those two motorcycles, I said, that would be better. He laughed, and I know that the laugh was in agreement. Because, you know, when you're 12 and when you're 40, whatever I was at that time, you know, it's a fantasy, you know, to go, for me anyway, it's a fantasy to go motorcycling. Here, I want to put this way down here. There's the road he's on. But he's really not on the road. I want to put him on the side of the road because he's looking at the scenery. And then over here, let's see, we want to put that line in the middle of the road over here. So there's the road. There's the middle of the road. There's the edge of the highway. And here's the shadow coming from him. We'll put some grass over here. So he's sort of kind of on the side of the road here. Yeah, and he's looking at the mountains. He is doing what I said those guys were doing. He is riding his bike in the mountains. You can tell from what I'm doing here that 90% or 50% of this picture is the sky. The motorcycle is just a very relatively small part of it. So I wanted to tell you about the song Born to be Wild. In fact, the words to Born to be Wild are my poem for today. Isn't that's interesting, right? Born to be Wild. All right, now we gotta, just roughly, we don't need to pencil in the sky too much. But before I tell you about Born to be Wild, I want to tell you about my brother Bob. Bob was a wild guy. Bob was born to be wild. Bob is no longer with us. He died in the desert. He flipped his truck. It was a single vehicle accident. And we don't really know what happened. He was 66 years old. So he had lived, a reasonably good life, reasonably long, by a lot of standards. 66 is, I know it's not as young as I want to die, but we were all heartbroken too. So yeah, he flipped his truck. But in his life, he was always a car person, a motorcycle person. He was always the wild one. He was always the one most likely to get a motorcycle. And he did. He got several motorcycles. And I was younger than him. I am younger than him. And I'm not so sure I like that orange right there. It's kind of a dark orange. I want it to be brighter than that. Let's put some yellow in there. But yeah, he was older than me, and so I remember doing a lot of things with him. I remember going fishing when we were younger, and when he got older, when we both got older, he moved to California, and I moved in with him for about a 7-month period or so in Santa Monica. All right, Mr. Blue Sky, you got to come out here now. There you are. I just want this to be blue and orange and yellow. I want this to be a very, very magnificent sky here. Oh, that's kind of dark. Let me try to shift over to something more purple. A little bit of a purple sky over here. And then we'll come back and put some details in there. Into the sky. I want the sky to be kind of magnificent. So Bob had motorcycles, and he had hot cars, and he was a mechanic, and he knew everything about cars. He was the family guy we all went to when we needed something done with our cars, or some advice on what we should do with our cars, or anything to do with cars. My brother Bob was the guy we went to. He knew all that stuff. Nobody ever came to me to say, how do you paint a picture? That's not one of those skills that people come to you for. But yeah, he knew cars. All right, I gotta keep this part because that's gonna be where the sun is. That's gonna be very bright down here. So we won't worry about that right now. So that's pretty wet. I'm gonna keep that, let that dry. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the song Born to be Wild and about the songwriter to Born to be Wild. It's a somewhat interesting story, especially if you know the song. Let's get this moved over here. This will have to be worked on. Let me get some of this. I get it over here. make this yellow, really yellow. I want the sun to be right there. That's the problem with the yellow sky and the blue sky. They come together with paint and they make green. And that's the one thing I'm trying to avoid, is the green sky. Mr. Green Sky. What's that song? Alright, let me see if I can get this up here. Alright, just let that sit like that. And let me get some of this dark blue here. Gotta be careful right there. The mountains to look almost reddish also right here. Okay, let's let that dry. Get this road here. Over here too. We'll get our motorcycle guy in there eventually. A little bit more over here. Get it wet. It's going to be very yellow. See if I can get that orange color in there. Spread it out a lot. Born to be wild. Coming together a little bit. Born to be wild. I got the song in my head. I should start talking about it. I think the man is going to have to be. Done with the smaller brush. That sky looking more like a sky. I've said this before, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know. I just want to get this orange everywhere. See, most of this motorcycle is silhouetted, except for the headlight. So I want to make sure I get that. We'll get it looking right. I hope I get it looking right. Now see, that's still wet up there, so I gotta spread that out, let it dry. Once I feel like I have some of the rough stuff in here, then I can feel more comfortable adding the details. Let's get the front of his tire. Get some of that in there. And there's a foot. Get his arm in there. Get most of his helmet. Gotta keep the top part of that helmet light colored. Get that little mirror right there. That handlebar. Everything around the light has to be dark. The most of his helmet is dark also, but there's a bright area on the edge that's reflecting the light behind him. There's his headlight. And there's some things happening over here. Some pieces coming out. Some chrome. Some reflective chrome. There's his other hand. There's his foot coming down. His knee sticking out. Because he stopped. He stopped on the side of the road. He's looking out. Looking out at the landscape. There's a little shadow here. He's got his other foot over here. I used to like riding my bicycle, so that's the only way I can really relate. I rode a motorcycle for a complete. I can tell you how far I've ridden a motorcycle in my life. Ready? 9 miles. I rode a motorcycle 9 miles. Now, I'm not talking about a mini bike. I'm talking about a Honda, some kind of a bigger motorcycle than a mini bike. So here's the story behind that. My brother had the bike, of course. It was his bike. And I asked if I could ride it, and he said yeah. And we lived in a very rural place here in Florida. This is after we moved here. My brother had a garage. So he was always a mechanic. And I asked him if I could ride his bike. And he said, yeah. I had never ridden anything except for a mini bike or a bicycle. And he told me I could ride it. And I rode it 4.5 miles. And I hit a patch of sand. And when I hit the patch of sand, I slipped. And I said, nope, this isn't for me. I didn't fall. I didn't fall to the ground. I just slipped. And I could have fallen. I didn't want to fall, so I didn't stay on the bike. I brought the bike back, so another 4.5 miles back to the garage, and that was all it was for me. Isn't that funny? So that's how I know it was my big 9-mile ride in God's book at the end of life. You know, when you review your life, God's going to say, you only went 9 miles? Can you imagine if God actually said that? You only went 9 miles, you chicken. You chickened out. You could have gone farther. You could have been born to be wild. But God, I'm not born to be wild. I was born to be an artist, I think. Must be, because that's what I do. Must be that's what you wanted me to be, right? Oh boy, I better not talk back to God. No, I don't think that's a good idea. On the other hand, maybe he'll laugh. Maybe I'll make him laugh. I'm going to try to add some reds and oranges here. Try to figure out a way to do this. I'm not really sure how to do this. But I'm going to do it. I'll probably use gouache. I think gouache is going to come to the rescue for me. I like that look right there. That's kind of a nice look. Alright, now I'm going to read to you the poem. It's Born to be Wild. And it's written by Mars Bonfire. That was his stage name. I'll tell you more about him in a second. Here's the song Born to be Wild. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way. Yeah, darling. Go make it happen. Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. I like smoke and lightning, heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind and the feeling that I'm under. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never want to die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild. Get your motor running, head out on the highway. We're looking for adventure and whatever comes our way. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never want to die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild. That was written by Mars Bonfire. It was released as the B-side on the Steppenwolf single, Suki Suki. Did you know that? That was the B-side to a song that flopped. The song that was the hit was the B-side. Isn't that something? It was written by, as I said, Mars Bonfire, but his real name is Dennis Eugene McCrowan. Although at one point he changed his name to Dennis Edmonton. So he changed his name from Dennis Eugene McCrowan to Dennis Edmonton, and then to Mars Bonfire. He was born in Ontario, Canada, in the city of Oshawa. He plays guitar. He was not in the band Steppenwolf, but his brother was the drummer, and I'll call him Mars. Mars wanted to be a songwriter, although he was in a band also. His band was called Sparrow. And the band Steppenwolf wanted to know if he had any songs that they could use, and he gave them Born to be Wild, but he also had a few others. Faster Than the Speed of Life was another one. Ride With Me was another one. Tenderness, The Night Times for You, and Caroline. He's got his own albums too, a couple of them. But you know what? It's interesting. I saw an interview with him, and he was talking about his older years. He's 81 years old now. He's still around, and he is an avid hiker. Let's see if I have that information. No, I don't have that information. But yeah, he's a hiker, and a very prolific hiker. He hikes a lot. And in the interview I saw with him, he was talking about how he and his wife go to the casinos in Reno. That's where he lives, in Reno, Nevada. And they go to the casinos, maybe to gamble a little, I don't know, but mostly to watch the shows. Isn't that interesting? All right, now let's get back to the picture. I'm not happy with it yet, not at all. Trying to think what I can do to become happy with it. I think I'll take some. This is the dried gouache from the other day. I think it's more orange than the orange I have in the watercolor. So I'm going to try to do some of these clouds a little bit better than they are. I'm going to try to do everything a little bit better than it is. But I want to make this very orange sky, because our bike guy in this picture, he's looking for adventure, and whatever comes his way. Yeah, I'm just trying to get a lot of this orange on here. I guess I don't need the pencil anymore. Yeah. See, this orange is a lot better, I think, than the one I was using. I'm going to water it down, spread it out a lot. Yeah, I want this over here. I want this to be the sun right there. And of course, I want his helmet to be reflecting that sun. Explode into space. I got the song in my head now. Born to be wild. Are you hearing it too? When you read words from a song that you're used to hearing with a melody, sometimes it changes them. Sometimes it makes you more aware of what the actual message was in the song. You think so? I think so. Alright, get the sun up, get these mountains orange. keep working on it. Just keep working on it. It'll happen. That's my message to all artists, especially with paint. And if it doesn't, if I'm wrong, then start over. Yeah. Just go ahead and throw it away and start over. No, don't throw it away. I should not tell you to throw it away. Don't ever throw it away, because you're going to use it one day. You're going to come back to it. You're going to be happy you saved it. Okay, we want the road to be orange as well. Get those mountains there. A little bit more mountainy looking. Make that the dark one. Get some dark over here too. Like everything over here has to be dark. We can get him a little bit darker too. Born to be wild. We gotta keep working on it. How many of you are motorcyclists? Some of you probably are. I wonder if I'm too old to learn how to ride a motorcycle. See, I kind of want that hand to almost not be visible. I want it to be kind of in the silhouette up against the dark background. Get some of this blue back there. Just like that. Get some of this yellow here. Make sure I get that area yellow. And whatever comes my way. I guess I could make him riding on the highway. I kind of wanted him sitting against the edge there, but maybe I got him. Maybe that's the whole road right there. Maybe that's what I should do. You know? That's probably the better idea. I think so. Instead of him sitting looking up, maybe he's riding at this point. I think that's the better way to approach this. See, I wanted him like on the side of the road, looking off the edge. But I think it's probably more, looks going to look better, I think, if I have, this is the edge of the road. And this is the edge, okay. So that means that this is the white line down the middle. All right? I think I know what I want to do now. So this is all shadow. That's going to be the white line. And it's going to have a lot of yellow in the road from the sun reflecting onto it, I think. I think that's the way to do it. Yeah, he's on the highway. He's born to be wild. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. So, this is the middle of the road now. I changed the idea. I changed it. I didn't like the way it was coming out. I couldn't visualize it the way I was seeing it in my mind. So I think the edge of that road can be darker. We can make all kinds of things happening in the mountains over here in the background. Because we haven't done a whole lot with the background yet. Nor have we done enough with the sky. I think the sky needs to have more going on. But now that I'm kind of focused on where the road is here. So this is all his shadow here coming from the sun behind him. Yeah, he's kind of leaning to one side, but he's riding. Yeah, he's riding. There's his other foot. Born to be wild, man. Born to be a wild man. Heading down the highway. Looking for adventure. Sorry, the song keeps playing in my head. I can't stop. I can't stop myself. I can't stop. Alright, let me see what I can do with this blue here. I want this sky to be a little bit more dramatic. Born to be wild. I want that to be yellow and let's see. Let's put a lot of yellow down here. Yellow and orange. Mr. Blue Sky. I got an ELO song on my head now too. Mr. Blue Sky. Oh, that's not the melody. That sounds like Mr. Sandman. Mr. Sandman. The sky's coming together a little bit now, I think. What do you think? Now, I think if he's on the road here, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about that line in the middle of the road. It's going to be one of those highways where there is no line. It's going to be one of those wild man highways. You just kind of know where the middle is. I think that's my idea here. Let me spread this out a little bit. Starting to happen. I feel like that light should be more yellow. Let me try that, and I might need to change it. Let's make it a little bit yellow on the edges, I think. It should be white only in the middle. And I think some of that chrome should have some blue in it too. Let's spread that out a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is, I got to decide here. I think I'm going to put some white on there. I think I'm going to add some white to the road, to the whole picture. Oh, that's a big glob of white. Whoa, what am I thinking? Oh well. I'll pick it up later on. Let me add a little bit of white down here. I think that sun should be reflecting there. I think there should be a reflection in his helmet. Maybe even on his arm. Or maybe that should be yellow and not orange, not white. Well, I'll get back to it. But I want it reflecting in the road. Maybe the white over the orange will sort of make it look yellow. Let me just play with the white a little bit. See what I can come up with. Maybe there's even some rays of sun that are making its way across the mountain down to the road. It's kind of a camera thing more than an actual thing. Yeah, maybe this isn't a perfectly smooth road. Maybe there's some parts of the sky. Maybe I can put more brightness on his helmet. Maybe a little reflection on his mirror. A little bit of a light right there. That kind of looks nice. Kind of like the way that looks. Put some on his foot too. Yeah. Hey, it works. Now let's make this road a little bit brighter right here, where the sun is hitting it. I think I'll use some, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll brighten some of this road, this mountain over here too. Some of this area. Getting the light hitting it. Some of this orange in there, I think. So this would be a card for somebody who likes to ride motorcycles, or somebody who has ridden motorcycles. Born to be Wild, the song that is synonymous with riding motorcycles. Yeah, I'm purposely putting some orange right there. I just feel like the orange glow of the sun should be kind of everywhere. I'm okay with lines too. Lines don't take away from it. I think it's kind of an artsy thing to add lines. Yeah, I wish I had done a card like this for my brother. Do you know what I did do? I did do a Christmas box. I painted a Christmas box with motorcycle on it. And after he died, I found that box in his shop. And then I took it. And I have it here somewhere. What do you think about our guy right here, huh? Does he look like he's got a helmet on? I think so. He's got his motorcycle. What do you think of that picture, huh? You think that blue needs to be bluer in the sky? I just feel like it needs to be more dramatic in the sky for some reason. It balances off this side, so this side is very dramatic. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Just some kind of a cover over the top of the card. And I think the only other thing I'm not so sure about is this right here, because why would that look like that? Maybe this is the side of the road, it's just, maybe that needs a little bit of white over there too. Just little pieces of white. Maybe there's some undefined vertical lines happening here. Maybe there's a road sign or something. Just a few things. I always think it looks good when you put a couple vertical lines in there, even if you don't know what they are. You know what? No, I'm not so sure I like those vertical lines. Let me get rid of them. Let me get rid of them. Yeah, there's no signs. He's writing in a place where there are no signs. Well, I think I'm done. I think our card is done. Except for the fact that I have to remove all of that paint from right there. I'm going to put it into the, I'm going to put it into the pan and let it dry there. And then I'll have it for another day. That's what I like about gouache. You can use it again. Just kind of pick it up there. And now, the last thing I do is I smudge it around and then we'll let it dry. Going to be wild. Alright. Here we are. It's kind of a wild picture, isn't it? Kind of a wild picture. Alright, I'm going to turn off the camera, let it dry, and I'll be right back. Alright, I think we're ready to fold it. Right there. Now, if my brother was still alive, this would be a card for my brother. What do you think about that one? I like it, I like it. I don't want to say I hate it. I was going to say I don't hate it. I'm not so sure I love it, but maybe I will after a while. Maybe I will after a while. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Thank you, Mars Bonfire, for that song. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.